This is News Talk 880 KJJR. Ross Strauser here along with Reed Trontel, and this is Focus on the Flathead. Hello, Reed.
Thank you, Ross.
Happy weekend. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you.
Hey, we have a great guest in the studio today, premier builder and contractor in the Flathead Valley. He is Eric Payne from Nuwest Builders. And Eric, how are you today? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm good.
Thanks for coming along. Hey, we want to talk about how you got to Montana. We want to talk about the successes you've had and also the future of Nuwest. But let's start with you a little bit. Can you tell us about yourself?
Absolutely. I was born in Western Maryland, about an hour from Baltimore, Washington. I grew up on a little farm with a mom that loved animals. We had every animal under the sun. Grew up loving the outdoors, hunting, fishing, all that. My sister came here in 92 after a divorce, found whitefish, skiing, came out and visited her in 93. Immediately fell in love with the valley in Montana. At that point, I had a young son that had just been born, so it wasn't an ideal time to move, and I was pretty young at that point. But I always had in my mind I wanted to get back here. Bought a house here as a vacation home in 97, and then moved here full-time in 2004.
Wow. And how did you come to start Nuwest?
Had been building here since basically 05, since we got here, and had built a fairly sizable construction company prior to Nuwest called Frontier Builders, and had sold it in 2013 and taken a year or two off to kind of recharge my batteries and focus on the things that I enjoyed the most with Frontier, and structured a new company called Nuwest. Basically, the name is for the purpose of trying to kind of take a new approach to the building industry.
So your mission, had to read this morning. Redefined luxury. Nuwest designs come with luxury built in, regardless of size or cost. And this is talking about residential and commercial buildings. You've done a lot of both.
Yes. Yeah, and I think, what we've found with Frontier was most builders get so busy, most architects get so busy that you listen to the client, but you build what the plans say. You don't take and put a lot of time and effort into advising before the plans are done, trying to figure out what the client would really love, not just like, and give them input. Show them how to do. Just because you like one thing doesn't mean you can't get something way nicer than that for the same price. But what we all as builders do is, why would you take all that time and effort when you're really not getting paid to do that, and tell someone to do it better for less? So with Nuwest, our whole goal is every project that we do, we want people, regardless of the budget, to walk in and be in awe. And if it's an average budget, we want people to learn, like, you can do so much more with your money by taking time and being creative.
Wouldn't it be nice if everybody had that philosophy in the building industry? That's pretty refreshing. Let's talk about a few of the buildings that we probably all know and love here in the Flathead Valley. Some of your work, your building resume, if you will. Just can you throw out a few of them?
Sure. We've done Frontier Builders. Obviously, has done some of the projects that are the more epic projects. Nuwest is right now kind of building up to that pace, but with Frontier Builders, we were blessed to do some incredible projects. The one that most everybody knows most would be KCs Bar in Whitefish, just because it stands out, amongst the rest, and kind of set a standard in Whitefish that really has helped the town, I believe. But that one, we've done proof research and quite a few really high-end residential projects that are among the best in the valley. But those projects, what we learned from them was we got to be heavily involved in the design process, more of a creative license, and that's what we enjoyed. That's what I enjoyed the most.
Yeah, I noticed that about it. You have design services, so obviously you have people on board to help you out with that.
Yeah.
And did you get to do a part of that for KCs as well?
We did. We were involved, almost like daily meetings with our staff, and the client gave us most of the creative license with it, the owner of the actual building. So we just, every day worked on the finishes, the designs, the process, instead of just going off a set of plans that an architect would hand you. We did it by the day, literally. And that is why I believe KC's stands out the way it does.
So you had a few stories before we got on the air about KCs and what you found. And Reed, you said something about the basement of KCs.
The old KCs
KCs.
That thing was like, it was just, there's myths about it, I think.
Yeah, well, I think after the building had been purchased, it was discovered that most of it was sitting on logs, and then in the back portion of it, there was a little hole down there that was considered a foundation. But I think everybody that went into the original KCs can remember that it sloped quite a bit. So if you dropped your beer, it would roll away from you real quick. So we've determined we wanted to get rid of that building in a hurry, and we didn't even make it 1 year. And the owner that was a partner in it, he was gracious enough to let us start a brand new building.
Mm-hmm. Hey, well, coming up, we're going to talk about new projects on hand, what people what you want people to know actually most about Nuwest builders, and so much more. You're listening to Focus on the Flathead. Our sponsors today, Three Rivers Bank of Montana and Glacier Grins Pediatric Dentistry. We're going to be back with more with our special guest, Eric Payne, owner and contractor for Nuwest Builders of Whitefish. This is Focus on the Flathead on KJJR.
Qualifications and rules apply. See institution for details.
If our lives are getting so much better, why is banking fallen so far behind with monthly fees and bad service?
Welcome to Megabank. Please hold.
Welcome to Kasasa. Free checking with monthly rewards, refunds on ATM fees, and your choice of cash, music, and extra money to save. Upgrade to a free Kasasa account today, exclusively at select community banking providers. Do you Kasasa?
Ask for Kasasa at Three Rivers Bank of Montana. Member FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Hey, this is Dr. Chad with Glacier Grins Pediatric Dentistry, where a kid's smile grows big. As a father of 3 kids who grew up in the Flathead, I understand how each child can be different. We created a fun and relaxed atmosphere here at Glacier Grins and work hard to make sure each child has a positive experience. We are accepting new patients and have immediate openings available. We are located in Hunt Ranch Plaza between Walmart and Sportsman. Book your appointment online at glaciergrins.com or call 890-6055. We look forward to meeting you and becoming your dental home.
Back again on News Talk 880 KJJR. Happy weekend, everyone. This is Focus on the Flathead. Ross Strauser, Reed Trontel. Reed, we're podcasting. We're doing things online now. Where can we find this podcast?
So best place is bpodcast.com. We're also on B Broadcasting YouTube channel. We're on iTunes. We're on Facebook. We're all over the place. It's awesome. But I wanted to ask you, Eric, thank you so much for being here, by the way.
Absolutely.
And thank you for sponsoring our upcoming next podcast, which is going to be the real estate show, which is awesome. So thank you for that. And so I own the caboose. I bought it back in 2010, which was right next to the old KCs. And I remember that I thought I could GC this renovation, right? And so I hired a couple guys and, anyway, it was an absolute disaster, if you remember. But so you come in and there's wires everywhere. It must have been hundreds of wires hanging down, holes in the floor. There's mold everywhere. And you in Frontier just did an amazing job, and that's why it looks so great even today. And so thank you for that.
Absolutely.
And it was the best check that I ever wrote, actually. I was like, oh, thank you so much. So thank you for that. But tell us a little bit about some of these spec homes. Like I walked through the one in Mountain Watch. That was incredible. It was like a West Elm hotel, feeling in a house, which was amazing.
Yeah, that was one of the first projects we did when we started Nuwest, and I think the goal in that project was to show people that on a budget that was roughly an under $200 square foot type home, you could have luxuries that you would never dream you could have. And I probably spent a year building a house that's under 2,000 square feet, which is kind of torture for me. But at the same time, it was like we did a lot of research and came up with a lot of ideas and ways to put luxury into everyone's budget. So whether it's 200 or more, I want everyone to walk into each room in the house and be kind of in awe. That particular house feels like like you are in a high-end luxury boutique hotel where you would take your wife on her honeymoon.
Exactly.
That is our goal. And everybody who went through that house, I think, had the same feeling. People that own it now from Tennessee, they tell me all the time. I wake up every morning, I just cannot believe I'm living in this house. And it was a $450,000 house, not a $4 million house.
Right.
So we love building them all, but everything we build, we want people to be just in love with the house after they buy it.
You said the floor took 3 weeks because that floor in there was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was like glass. You looked at it, it was like glass. And the nice thing about that house is it does really pop on every level, like the luxury feel of it, but you can clean that whole entire house in about 15 minutes. The floor, the counter, everything in the house, like easy concrete finishes everywhere. It's just luxury, but it's also very simple.
Well, I got to ask, where do you think construction is headed? I mean, that sounds pretty amazing. That's one idea, concrete, able to clean the house in minutes. Where is construction headed? The newest green things out there, in your opinion, a few things that you could throw at us?
Yeah, I believe, we've really seen a trend in the newer projects coming up to be extremely modern. Yeah. And I think, those trends have worked their way here. It's taken a long time, and I've loved watching it come and push for it. But if you go to other resort towns, even as close as like Jackson and Bozeman, they're far ahead of the Whitefish in the Flathead Valley as far as modern goes. So I think it's really going to continue. Like, we're starting to see a lot more modern roof lines and more glass and those kinds of things. But when you visit some of these other resort towns that aren't that far from us, they're extreme modern. So I really do see our valley and our construction industry continuing even more strongly in that trend.
So what is your favorite style of building personally?
It's been crazy how my taste have evolved. I used to love rustic, and then we really switched to a modern version of rustic, which is KCs is kind of a combination of both. A lot of the projects we did was a combination of both, and now I am like completely focused on ultra modern and incorporating a few finishes in so it still fits Montana, because I think we are a different area here than we are anywhere else because we're so far north. But ultra modern is ultra bright, ultra fun. And when you can live in we live in Montana, we can walk outside and see trees and all the wood you ever want to see every day. Yeah. So why have your house dark and dingy and not much light? With modern, you get everything bright and fun to live in.
Well, we have just a little over a minute left. I want to ask you for sure, we talk about redefining luxury, and it sounds like you've definitely done that. What do you want people to know most about, maybe a prospective buyer, our listeners, to know about Nuwest?
I think we want to separate ourselves from everybody else, and that we will take the time for any budget, regardless of what you're spending. We will take the time to spend with you and if your plans and your ideas, and make sure you are getting more for less. And that, I've already done this on an extreme scale and built a huge company. I'm not here to just build a huge profitable company. I'm here to create a trend that people are getting much more house without spending ridiculous amounts of money to get those features.
How would one get in touch with you and your company to maybe start the talk about a project?
We really are focused on social media, Facebook. We're Nuwest Builders is got quite an in-depth profile. Instagram, our website nuwestbuilders.com is really up. We try to keep it up to date too. So and their email, text, we're always available 7 days a week.
Well, we want to thank you for being here today and getting us a little more information on Nuwest Builders. Last word, Reed, do you have anything else for us?
Just thank you, Eric. And I know you just, when you walk into a house with you and you're looking at things, you just put the person at ease. So thank you for that. I think people will really just relate to that and seek that out. So
thank you.
Our special guest has been Eric Payne, owner and contractor for Nuwest Builders Whitefish. And this is Focus on the Flathead. Have a great weekend right here with News Talk 880 KJJR.